Our speaker today, Eric Hellman, has a deep passion for healing of our minds, our bodies, our emotions and spirit, our relationships, our work, and our world. Now, a change and communications coach, Eric has experience in many diverse fields, from the environment, peace, and healthy communities to deep relaxation, spirituality at work, and elder care. Eric is also a longtime practitioner of therapeutic touch and a student of A Course in Miracles. And Eric is going to delight us with a very exciting talk today. Our musician today, Nathan Aswell, is a recording artist and speaker based in Vancouver, Canada, and he believes that his calling in this life is to encourage people to live big lives, one small step at a time, through his heart-centered music making, his engaging talks, and his warm listening. His CD, called Little by Little and Yes, are both celebrations of life, transformation, evolution, and the oneness of humanity, delivered in a variety of popular music styles. Nathan honors his calling by performing and speaking internationally at conferences, concerts, retreats, and churches, presenting his music, stories, and humor with his voice and his famous Chapman stick. Wanting to best serve during the COVID pandemic, he now offers Morning Musings, which is featuring an insight and a new chant and contemplative silence every Wednesday morning at 9 Pacific time on Facebook Live. And for us living here in the White Rock area, this coming Friday and Saturday, May 6th and 7th, Nathan will be performing in a production called A Natural Woman, tribute to Aretha Franklin and the First Ladies of Motown. This is going to be held at the Blue Frog Studios in White Rock, and there are a few tickets still left, and the early show on Saturday will also be live streamed. I guess you get that information from the Blue Frog Studios. And in September and October of 2019, Nathan walked the Camino de Santiago, a 500-mile or 800-kilometer pilgrimage across Spain. And he's currently writing a book about this. So this is something we can look forward to. And as we settle in for meditation with Eric, Nathan will delight us with a lovely song written by Jana Stanfield and Jill Colucci called How Beautiful. Take it away, Nathan.
Thank you very much, Pixie. I've seen you struggle and I've seen you stumble and get back up again. I've seen you worry and I've seen the courage that shines in you, my friend. You inspire me, and I can't help but see how beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful you are. When I'm losing hope at the end of my rope, I find strength in your eyes. 'Cause you walked alone on the darkest of roads, and your spirit still shines. You inspire me to live courageously. How beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful you are. How beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful you are. What a lucky soul am I, just to have you in my life. How beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful you are. How beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful you are.
Whoa. I can only say how beautiful the song and how beautiful you are, Nathan. Thank you for the gift of not just the words and the music, but the energy, intention, and spirit that you bring into what you do. So with that, I'm going to switch screens here and invite you to begin to enter the time of meditation as you listen to Nathan's next song, written both by him and Becca Palm. It's called Ho'oponopono. And let it take you into that gentle place within.
I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Ho'oponopono. please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Oh, Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono.
Now, as you continue to hear Nathan's beautiful music, I invite you to take a very gentle breath. A breath that begins to unlock and unwind and release all that you may have been holding on to, and all that you are, the deeper truth of love. It often seems like the clouds of life are our truth or what we are. But in this moment, as you relax and let go into your chair, I invite you to invite in the light. The beauty, the grace, the forgiveness, and the peace. Whatever it is that your heart, your soul is longing for right now. As I invite you to take one more breath, let us move into stillness and silence so that we can contemplate and allow in that beauty and that light. And very gently, we begin to hear Nathan's music again. I invite you back into this reality of the physical world, opening your eyes very gently, seeing what's around you or hearing the sounds, but yet still, if you can, bringing yourself in so that the two merge. This world, your inner world, the truth of your being merge into this time and place. Move your neck and your head and your arms, your torso. If you feel like standing up, whatever works for you to bring yourself back into this place. We welcome you for a second time this morning and invite you to come fully into the room for today's talk and the rest of the service. Whew. Thank you, Brother Nathan. Whew. All right, so let us journey forth and, well, spring forth on this May Day. Today's talk, are you being hard on yourself? When I looked at this month's Unity Global theme and saw change gracefully, a lot of thoughts started to spring to mind, and I want to explore those with you today. The first one is, so what would it feel like inside of you and in your life to change gracefully? Would it, for example, seem like things come more easily to you? Breathe into that one. Imagine life coming more easily to you, and whatever that means. Would we perhaps let things go more easily? The things that we've been holding on in our life, the burdens, the heavy weights, the pressures. Perhaps as negatives arise, we would be able to see them, but not get caught up in them. And we'd be able to stay present and stay ourselves, feel safe, and yet move and change gracefully. Or as the challenges and the pressures mount, as they often have a tendency to do, we would be able to remember this moment and breathe and see that they are not the truth of who we are, and move forward through them more gracefully. And how would it feel inside? Maybe it would be this yes, and a woman holding her thumb up, or maybe it would feel like this feline lying on its back, knowing that life has its back. How would it feel to change gracefully for you? Those are beautiful images and ideas, but there's always a but, right? The facts of this life are that we often don't feel that way or meet change that way throughout our lives, do we? They tend to throw us curveballs, and they can be challenging. So why is that? Why is it that change, dealing with the pressures that we have to go through in life, the ups and the downs of life, are often so hard? Well, for me, it's because we're human. We face money issues, work issues, relationship issues, health issues. Just take the last 2 years of COVID as an example. The challenges we face and the pressures that it's put on us. And in response to those, sometimes we get scared or afraid. We're human. Sometimes we feel hurt and it blocks our heart. Sometimes we worry about things. If you're human, worry will be part of the journey. Sometimes we feel loss and grief. It's what comes up. And sometimes we feel the need to protect ourselves in this place of being human. Well, when I first read the theme of changing gracefully, these words came to mind. Are you being hard on yourself? And I didn't really get how the two related. So that's what I want to do with you this morning, is to take a deeper look at this idea of how we might be being hard on ourselves, but in a very gentle and precious, thoughtful and respectful way. Think for a moment, if I can invite you to think about what some of the signs might be of being hard on ourselves. Think of what some of those signs might be. For example, when we do something wrong, which, we might occasionally, maybe once or twice in this lifetime do, what do we do to ourselves? Well, sometimes we beat ourselves up. Let's just be frank. Sometimes, kind of like this guy.
You knock your brains out.
Now, if you couldn't see it on screen, this guy hit his head. This is Jack Carson in a 1949 movie called My Dream Is Yours, and that was Eve Arden saying, be careful, you'll knock your brains out. It was as true then as it is now. We beat ourselves up when we do things wrong. What are some of the other signs that we're being hard on ourselves? Well, one is we keep piling on ourselves things to do. Can anybody relate to that? It's kind of like, how many people make lists or post-it notes? Well, this picture, if you can't see it, if you're on the telephone, is somebody who post-it noted himself or herself fully under them. This is how we can be hard on ourselves without realizing. Yet at some point, some part of us, surely it must dawn us, there's too much that we can ever do, but we still try. And eventually our load becomes way too much. And as in the picture in this one, we try to pull that train, that weight, and all those boxcars behind us. We keep pulling and pushing, trying to do all we set out to do, and then what happens? Well, if that weren't enough, our inner critic shows up, and maybe it looks something like this. This picture of a bird pointing its gnarly claw at us or me. That's the way I saw it. And what does that inner critic say to us? Well, think of all the voices inside of you when you already feel overwhelmed, but don't feel you can let go any of the things you promised. What does the inner critic say? Oh, you overdid it. You blew it. You did it again. Or it says, you shouldn't have done that. You should have said no. Or you fool, you bleep, bleep. How nasty that voice inside us can be. Well, and then if that wasn't enough, we put even more pressure on ourselves. Even just by holding tightly, we hold our bodies and our minds, our thoughts, our emotions to protect ourselves, because we may think we're missing expectations that we've set up or things that we've promised. We may fear that we'll let others down, or we may feel like we're not enough. And with all those weights we put on ourselves, both inside and outside, it can feel like it's too much. And if it does in any way right now, just be gentle, take a breath. And know that you're kind of like this little being with its bug eyes who says, sometimes I even cuss at or hit inanimate objects because they don't do what I want them to do. Isn't it that way sometimes? Have you ever hit anything in your life? A toaster, a table, a television, a computer, a cell phone? That's what we do when the pressure builds up, we have to release it and we let it out. Can you identify with any of these? Sure you can, because you're human. None of us gets to escape some of these issues. However, this talk, as I raise my finger and point, is not about pointing fingers at you. It's not about trying to make anyone here feel guilty. And it's not about saying that you should be better in some way. It's not about pressure. It's about redemption. Whatever that means to you, it's about release, freedom, reminding you that you are not alone and that's not what you deserve in your life. Whatever you've done, it's not who you are and what you deserve. It's remembering that this is part of human nature, and that nature of human beingness is split. We have a light side, that beautiful side, that loving side, gentle side, and that dark side that would tear us to shreds if we give it the opportunity sometimes. And it's helping each other to get out of the holes and the challenges and the hard places we get ourselves into. Yeah. When that question, are you being hard on yourself, came to me, my immediate answer was this. It was a very strong yes. So I'm part of the crowd, right? Yes, that's how I treat myself. Since that realization about 3 to 4 weeks ago, I've been trying to understand that more by asking these 3 questions of myself. I mean, you might try it with me if it feels right. Can I feel that inside? I'm just going to go back to that. Can I feel that hard place? Feelings in my body, the hard thoughts. Can I actually feel that hardness inside? Because the more I've been able to, the more it's tended to let go a little bit. Second question, when do I do that? When do I notice that coming up? Observing myself as I go through the day, giving this talk, thinking about giving this talk, after I give this talk. When do I get hard on myself? And what is this about? Is there any insight about why I'm treating myself in this way? You see, one of the things I learned in environmental work back in the late 1970s was awareness is the first step of change. And here's what I've discovered holding those 3 questions over the last few weeks. First thing is that I have very high expectations of myself. I know I'm a capable person, and I also have high visions of what's possible in this world, in my life, and what I long to see and bring into the world. The second thing I noticed is I have a very strong sense of responsibility and a feeling and a desire of wanting to help others. The third one is that I keep taking on and pressuring myself to do more, following the other 2 things, my vision and sense of responsibility and desire to help. Maybe some of you are the same. So if that's the case, just notice what's coming up for you as I continue this self-reflection. So what I also discovered was, as things get to be too much, as I put those post-it notes on myself, I tend to push my feelings down. My feelings might be going, oh, this is getting too much, but I push those down to keep them away. I also suppress my self-care, taking care of myself by going outside or whatever, and my self-honesty. about how I actually feel, and maybe even my voice, speaking honestly to myself or to others. And then I push through like that person hauling the train behind. Well, I focus on getting things done, the business, the doing of things, instead of what might actually be honest and loving for me. You ever get split between those two? You see, I do want to help others, so I try to get those things done. But what I also noticed is that it gets driven by my being afraid of letting people down, afraid of hurting them if I do or don't do something wrong. And perhaps by being hurt, perhaps I, yes, very definitely get scared of being hurt by them if I do something wrong. Many other fears may come up for you as they do for me: fear of failing, not being responsible, or maybe even not feeling loved. These are the underlying drivers I'm beginning to recognize that push me forward. I try my best, and I know you do too, to act and work and be with love. But under the pressure, I end up feeling exhausted. And I often miss out on some of the good feelings, the joy, the love that I wanted to bring into the world. I don't often, sometimes miss out on getting those for myself. And here's the kicker: I will likely do all of these again. Because if you've been with Unity for any length of time or self-growth, you may remember that patterns held in mind will keep repeating themselves until we can in some way let them go. Take a breath. Can you identify with any of these? As I said, I've forgotten I had the slide. Take a breath. Relax into your chair and just begin to let some of that light shine in to yourself, because it's time not to be harsh, but to be gentle with ourselves, because we're doing the best we can. Now let me turn from my self-reflection to you, an opportunity to reflect on your own experience. Do you have a tendency to be hard on yourself? If that's a possibility, just notice your reactions or responses to these questions to see if any of them fit for you. For example, are you ever harsh on yourself? Do you attack or punish yourself when things go wrong? You do the, quote, wrong thing. Do you push or force yourself beyond the level and the limits of what really feels peaceful or loving inside? You know, like who doesn't, right? Inside, are you unkind or hurtful to yourself? And the last one, do you regularly feel it necessary to defend yourself? I'll put up my hands for that one. So if you recognize or respond to any of those, here's a question you might ask. If you were to imagine your future self, the life you want to grow into, ask yourself, do I want to keep doing this to myself? It's coming inside. It's coming up. Do I want to keep doing this to myself? And do I have any choice? Here's a second thing you might want to notice and reflect on. Do I do any of these to others? For example, am I harsh towards others? Do I attack or subtly or overtly try to punish others through my words, my deeds, my thoughts even? Do I push or force others to do what I think they should, even though it may not be loving for them? And am I ever unkind or hurtful to others in words, deeds, or in thought? Well, again, how many of us aren't, right? It's just part of being human. When we are hard on ourselves, what I've come to recognize is we tend to do this to others because it's a way of getting it out and not feeling it inside. So I invite you again to look into that future, into that what you want to be in life, and consider saying these words inside. I want to stop doing this to the people in my life. It's not what I want to create, not what I want to bring in, and not what I want to be. Just the statement, the choice inside will begin to set it in motion if it feels right for you to say that. Now, what would actually help me to do this and put it into this world? In other words, what would help me to soften, be kinder, gentler with myself and others? Well, a few things came up. Just watch to see if they resonate for you or other things that come to mind. For example, begin to notice when you are being hard on yourself and others. Just recognizing it will give you a choice point. And when you see it and feel it, begin to offer yourself compassion. Touch your heart, your head, your belly. Give yourself gentleness and love and compassion for that hard, hurt place inside. Another one might be saying no more often. Can be in different ways. You might say no to somebody who's being harsh with you. You might say it to yourself when you recognize you're being harsh towards others, or you may say it to that harsh place inside of you that says, no, I will not do this to myself. This is not how I want to live. Not how I want to be, and not what I choose to say or do to myself. You might apologize or say, I'm sorry to someone else or to yourself when these things come up. And you might take time, if you can, for yourself. Now that seems antithetical to the pressuring, pushing part of us that's on deadline, that needs to do more. But even if you take a moment, a breath, a walk, a visualization, a loving moment for yourself, that begins to open the door to the other side of your humanity. So as we look ahead to life, the next day, the next week, the next month, the rest of our lives, the truth is the challenges and changes of life are not going to stop just because we say nice things and hear nice things and do nice things in this service. They're going to continue. But how we respond to them can change. We can choose to be gentler and kinder and more loving to ourselves and to change more gracefully. So, if that resonates Would you be willing to choose again, to choose that in your life, to choose not to be so hard on yourself, to not recreate that pain, and to be gentle and loving to the being that you are? So with that and those thoughts rolling through, I invite you to turn within again as we take some time for prayer. And do it with eyes open or eyes closed. As you begin to relax again into your chair. And watch whatever tensions may have come up as I was speaking or as you were reflecting. And yet also feel another part of yourself, the part of yourself that wants more, to begin to speak to you inside as well. And see if any of these words fit for you. Holy Spirit, higher holy self, universe, whatever you call it. I am often hard and harsh on myself. But I don't want to keep feeling that way. It's not who I really am. It's not how I want to feel. It's not how I want to treat myself or others or the world. And I want to let this go, but I need some help. So I give this to you. This harsh place, this hard place. I want to release it. I want to be released from it. So I give it to you and invite in peace and love and tenderness. I also want to release others from their harsh and hard places inside. I want to see them with that light that Nathan sang about. I want to hold for them the idea of freedom and permission and release. So in love and in gentle yet very deep intent, I give them to you for release. And I want to heal with them or with others in my life with whom I feel conflict or pressure or fear of being hurt. In fact, I want to release anybody to which I hold harshness or feel harshness coming from them in my own life or in the world, wherever your mind takes you. We are all needing release. And I ask for and offer this now. I want us to be free, to be that holy, joyful, loving self that unity says in life keeps reminding us that we are inside. I invite you to take a breath, move those out, release them. If you need to reach for a Kleenex like I do, feel free if you've got one close by. And I'd like you to take this time one step further, if you'd be willing. The last 2 years have been a very difficult time for all of us. With COVID, with lockdowns, with conflicts over vaccinations, with time not being able to be with friends or being present together in our services, as has been our experience in the past. Well, if you think you've had it tough, let's bring to mind the people who have been at the core of these services for the last close to 24 months. The people who have been in our spiritual leadership team and our board. I think you have pictures of who they are. You may be one of them, or you may be seeing who they are and thinking of them in your mind. Well, what I'd like you to do for those of us who feel able is to bring these people, leadership team members, board members, who have been under extreme and excessive pressure, trying to learn Zoom, trying to bring these services to us each week, week after week after week, and the iceberg of activity underneath the surface that has taken, that is involved. Think of the pressures of having to put onto their already busy lives the work to keep this congregation and these services together. Of making mistakes in front of each other and all of us in the world because we're broadcasting live. Knowing what words to say, what words to do on a PowerPoint, the pressures of trying to do it right. These people have been under enormous strain, and that disregards, doesn't even include all the things that are needed to keep Unity White Rock part of Unity Canada and Unity Worldwide, and the charitable works and the bookkeeping and all of the other work that it takes to keep a board going and an organization running. It is a huge iceberg underneath, and within us, it is a tremendous weight. So I want you to bring these members, the leadership team and the board, into a circle. Let us begin to surround them, to see them, and to offer them gentleness and kindness and peace. To touch them on a back or a shoulder, somewhere that would feel safe for them, and to radiate, to extend, to offer our compassion and our love, our forgiveness, our healing, our strength, and our gratitude and appreciation for all that they have done, all that they have been, and all that they have helped us to share together over the last 2 years. And as we hold them and one another and the future of Unity White Rock, wherever it may be intended to go, we give them and this and ourselves up to the higher holy self for release, for changing gracefully, for freedom to move on to our next steps, whatever they may be, and know that we will always hold each other in this place of divine grace and love. And with that, let us say Amen. And I say thank you to you for holding this space together this morning. And with that, I turn it over to my brother Nathan without having any idea where he's going to take us next.
What my dear brother Eric means by that is there were two songs that I suggested for this point in the service, and I was listening intently to Eric as he had requested I do during his talk, and believe me, it was not an easy choice. I'd actually like to play the both of them, but the one that I will choose to play is by my friend Gary Lynn Floyd, and this is called Unbound.
Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath, relax your cringe. Love without waiting, slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice, let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me. Don't leave out a word, not a word. 'Cause I know I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Lay it down, lay it down.
Thank you and bless you, Nathan, for your beautiful, beautiful music. So heartwarming, delightful, and healing too. And Eric, wow, I can hardly find words to thank you for your inspiring, deeply healing, and practical message. Especially, I can speak on behalf of myself as a board member and on the spiritual leadership team. I can speak for my sisters on the team, on the leadership team, and people on the board, how grateful we are to be recognized and appreciated for the work we do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure all the others feel exactly the same way that I do. Bless you and